Okay, and finally, we're going to dig into this delicious chocolate cherry pecan pie. We gotta get a thumbnail because look at that amazingness. So this has a chocolate cherry filling with dates and carob and cherries, and then pecan and fig crust.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
This is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't believe this is no bake.
Oh yeah! All you gotta do is put it in the freezer overnight, and the rest is just in a blender.
This is an amazing way to incorporate raw veganism into your diet. Take a day, make some pies, freeze the slices, and then boom, put it in your fridge the night before, and you have an amazing breakfast. This is dessert for breakfast, and it's fruit and a little bit of nuts, and for someone that's just starting out, that's going to be wonderful.
I mean, it's really good to know that you don't have to give up amazingly delicious, melt in your mouth kind of food.
This is super motivating.
If you're having raw food, yeah. You could be like,
this is dessert.
If this is as good as it can get, there's no reason not to. Because I know people are a lot of times oh, I miss chocolate if I'm going to change my diet. I won't be able to have chocolate. Girl, this is chocolate. This is like a chocolate bar. This is definitely as rich as a non-vegan dessert.
Close enough. And there's so much flavor that it's so good. Whenever I bring raw vegan, no-bake desserts like this, it always blows away anything cooked that anybody brings. It really does.
Because there's a lot of bitter ingredients in whatever regular baked goods.
They have to add that concentrated fat to cut the bitterness,
and then add sugar to make the baked fruit taste good.
Every one of these ingredients tastes good on their own. Okay, intuitive eating tips. Our first tip. Number 1, use a nutrition calculator. So, I don't care if your stomach is telling you to eat McDonald's fries nonstop. You still need to get your minimum daily requirements. Otherwise, how are you going to be successful?
Yeah,
There's just no way.
You'll start to understand what it actually takes to get your minimum requirements. Because I know a long time before I started eating vegan at all, and I was using MyFitnessPal or something like that to try and cut calories, which I don't recommend anymore and don't follow. But I would put in my steak or whatever, my salad that I make, kale, Greek salad, blah blah. I've made all my own food, and I would end up really low in calcium and zinc and stuff, and I would be like, what the heck can I eat to fill out my calcium requirements or iron? I think it was. And I was I looked up what are foods that are high in iron, and kale shows up. I'm like, okay, well, I'll put in a cup of kale into my salad and see what that does. And it only went up 10% or something like that. I was like, what? I have to eat a whole tub of kale in order to get my iron requirements. And so I was just like, well, whatever, I give up. I'm just going to focus on calories, but that's how much it takes. You need to be having a lot of vegetables, a lot of whole foods in order to get your requirements, and you'll find out where you're missing out on.
Ultimately, intuitive eating should teach you what the right foods are. Because anytime that you're making a poor decision, you're missing out on whole plant foods that should be supplying you with those nutrients in a better way. Better than supplementation, and much better than missing it out through a poor choice. And that's what intuitive eating should definitely teach you.
Yeah, because if you're eating empty calories that aren't very nutrient dense, you're just wasting all those calories that you're not getting the nutrition requirements for your day.
Empty calories. No good. Tip number 2. How you feel is not what you just ate. It's cumulative. So, it's not just that meal that you just ate, how you feel in the next 20 minutes or 6 hours later or even the next day. Everything counts. What you've been doing lately, what is still immediately in your stomach from what you just ate,
Depending on what you ate, it could still be there.
And depending on what your digestive speed is. If you have really slow digestion, and you say to yourself, well, I like orange juice out of the carton currently, so I'm just going to start making orange juice, and you have poor digestion, that's going to make you feel terrible. There's not that much fiber, and you got to get that stuff moving before you can start to feel good. And like, if you're eating intuitively like that can really lead you to a poor decision. So you need to think about how what you're taking in is interacting with what's currently inside of you too, whether it be closer to the end of its journey or farther up. Mm-hmm. It matters. You have to think about it.
Yeah, if you're coming from a highly processed diet, you really need to focus a lot on hydration and fiber so that you can start clearing out that extra stuff you're holding on to in your digestive system. Mm-hmm. I mean, depending on what you eat, they could still be affecting you several days later. With whole, hydrated, fiber-rich foods, though, they'll pass through you more quickly.
Here's another way where this comes in with intuitive eating. Sometimes people that don't eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, when they start, and I had this issue, and Nick had this issue with food allergies. I didn't label mine as food allergies. I just kind of labeled it as I don't like that food, when really, like, no, it was intolerable to put in my mouth. When I started juicing, it like really flipped a switch. I was much less inflamed, and I was actually able to start eating my fruits and vegetables. But my point being that what you're eating and how you eat, how what you're eating affects you is also cumulative, in that if you're eating a lot of very inflammatory foods and then you go and eat something that's anti-inflammatory like a fruit and vegetable, it can have a detoxifying effect immediately in your mouth, and it can be very unpleasant. And my recommendation for that would be that you start more with vegetables, whole vegetables, and vegetable juice mainly. Because it does have a lot of fiber. It will help you go. You don't have the same issues too much with vegetable juice as you do with fruit juices. As long as it doesn't give you food allergies, maybe fruit is not okay to you. Like, I did not want to eat very many fruits. A lot of them gave me allergy issues. So you need to pack on the fruit juice to get that fiber in you, to start clearing all those inflammatory foods in your bowels, frankly, to start clearing out so that you become much less inflamed. And then when you're much less inflamed and you've started to get these plant enzymes in you and that vitamin and mineral like density of the vegetable juice, then you're going to start to be able to appreciate the sugar and the natural flavors of fruit. And you're not going to have that inflammatory response right away, and it's not going to bother you. And that's how you become more intuitive about what you're eating. It's not just what you ate, it's also cumulative. So you're not necessarily allergic to fruit. You're allergic to all these other fruits, and fruit is just so far on the other end of the spectrum, it's just a shock.
I used to be allergic to so many things. I used to be allergic to watermelon, avocado, banana, cantaloupe, peas, all different kinds of nuts. And as I started eating a more clean diet, I started drinking banana smoothies and eating potatoes, and those allergies started going away, and I was able to eat a whole avocado and not have hives all over my mouth. So it's not really the avocado, it's that it has a detoxifying effect on the things that you've been eating before. Mm-hmm. I know like wheatgrass shots will do that to people. Like, they'll get very queasy, hot. Yeah, they'll get flush,
burning,
because it's a very detoxifying food, and they have a lot of toxic buildup.
Eat in order of hydration, and this will be what you crave, is our next tip, number 3. So, if you wake up and you do want to eat that heavy food, I guess we can also tie in another kind of tip into this too, is when you don't feel good, don't take that as failure. You're learning. You're just learning. Take what you learned, and then the next day, apply what you learned. Don't do that. Try something different. Yep. If you wake up and you want to eat 4 avocados, fine, go ahead and do that. But then when you try to meet your minimum requirements for the rest of the day, you're going to have a really hard time. But you're going to learn from that. You're going to learn from that, and then you're going to go, you know what, I can still have those 4 avocados. But you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to go, ooh, I kind of still want avocados, but ooh, you know what? That did not make me feel good the rest of the day. It kind of wasn't worth it. I'm going to wait to have avocados maybe later today. I'm going to try to do a little better, eat a little lighter first. And maybe that'll help me give me the energy to process those avocados in my digestive tract a little bit better. Because you don't get too much energy right from avocados right away. And when you're waking up, you need that fast return on your energy. Yeah. Because hopefully you still have enough vitamins and minerals in you from the day before of good eating, from eating all your fruits and vegetables, that you have everything that you need to process the sugars of waking up and eating fruit, or your fruit being your first meal of the day. So then you can process those sugars properly. It's part of intuitive eating is being well prepared too. And that's part of learning from your mistakes. So it's cumulative. Those are the tips too. And as far as eating in order of hydration, exactly. Avocados are not hydrating. They're 80% fat. There's very little water in there compared to something that's very hydrating like watermelon or grapes or something like that, which is just a much better first option. And so you will learn that if you eat hydrating foods and then you move to less and less hydrating foods throughout the day, you will feel much better than if you start with really concentrated non-hydrating foods and then move to hydrating foods for the rest of the day, because these foods in your digestive tract are going to push those other ones and they're just going to mix and it's going to give you gas.
They just digest slower. And if you have something fast on top of it, it tends to pass through and make you feel gargly. You'll actually start hearing and feeling like something wasn't right. And it wasn't the food that you ate. It was just the order that you ate it in.
It's just too different. And, for some people think that this isn't an issue for them. And it could absolutely not be. I mean, if you have 4 or 5 meals still inside of you and you have a pretty big belly, then eating a lot of watermelon may not really do anything to you. Yeah. When I had Crohn's disease growing up, when watermelon was in season, a couple times while it was in season, I would literally just eat a whole watermelon like in a day. I basically forgot that I did this, but I would only do that like twice a year. But it made no difference to my digestion.
Yeah, because you have so many other factors going on that...
I have so much other stuff in me.
Yeah.
It's just...
You can't be intuitive if you have 5 different meals to think about
exactly
at one time.
So part of being intuitive is also clearing out first and eating in the order of hydration so that you stay as clean as... Not clean, but clear. Clear as possible.
Yeah, so that you can absorb the nutrients of the food that you're eating. And you don't have a lining of crud preventing you from being able to feel how the food that you're eating is actually affecting you.
So how do we plan for the morning then? So that brings us to our next tip. So don't go to bed on a stuffed stomach. It can be really tempting in an intuitive eating world to, I'm not that tired, I kind of need to go to bed, I really am going to stuff myself and just fall asleep. Don't do it. It's just something about gravity.
It's a really bad way to start out the next day.
When you're laying down, if you're really stuffing, you can eat a little bit right before sleep, and I get a little low energy, a little groggy when I wake up. I prefer to stop eating like at least an hour before I go to bed, or at least, or like even 3 or 4 is really like the best.
Yeah, I do like 2 or 3.
2 is like sustainable. 2 is sustainable, but like eating right before you go to bed, and then you're stuffing yourself up like to the point of where like it's at like back of your throat, and you're like, ugh, that kind of feeling. If you lay down and you just go to sleep and you wake up, a lot of that food is still
not going to be ready to process that in the morning. And then it's going to interfere with whatever hydrating food you're having directly in the morning, because it's going to be passing over the stuff that's still processing. Yeah,
absolutely.
So you need that jump start of the 2 hours of being awake after you finish your dinner to be able to pass that, so that you can get on with having good choices in the morning.
So let's take this into account, how it fits into our current raw vegan lifestyle. So like when we eat a salad at night, we typically have garlic in it. We have a lot of foods that are prebiotics. And because we have healthy probiotics, because we don't make that many bad choices, if something sits in your stomach all night, that many hours at 98.6 degrees, and it's a prebiotic, it is going to ferment a little bit before it gets down into the lower areas of your body, and B, then it's going to be a gas chamber. It's going to be a yeast factory. So then your best first choice in the morning is fruit. So if you don't wait like honestly 4 or 5 hours for your stomach to totally clear out, then you're going to be putting fruit juice on top of a fermenting factory. And that's how you produce alcohol. And that's how you feel terrible and gassy. You will become a still. And so you really want to be totally clear when you're eating your fruit in the morning, especially because you're going to be moving around a lot. Your digestion is going to be picked up. And what you do is going to be very reactive. That's the most reactive time to be eating foods if in the middle of the day. Like if you do eat a lot before you go to bed, wake up and have some fruit or something like that, or even if you do wait a few hours and that that kind of older fermented salad is now here. And then you have fruit juice. Guess what? It's still going to catch up later. That's just the nature of it. And by 5 or 6 p.m., you're going to feel gassy. You're going to feel a little bloated down here. You're not going to want to exercise. You maybe aren't going to be feeling your best emotionally because of it too. And you're going to maybe even make more poor choices because of it. Because your intuitive eating is telling you, oh, you're not feeling that great. Just stuff it down. Just stuff it down. And really, you could stuff it down with salad to help fix the problem. It
depends. I mean, I know banana smoothies have enough fiber and hydration.
They have a lot of fiber. Yeah.
You can have that after a cooked meal, and it'll make you poop.
It'll make
stimulate.
Yeah. In the morning, it won't be up here. It'll be down there.
Yeah.
Close.
So, I mean, if you're having trouble figuring out the balance of hydrated to heavy foods, banana smoothie is a good way to start out the day.
Yeah.
It's also an okay way to end the day too. Yeah. For me personally, I don't know. That would work for everybody.
Doesn't work for me that well.
See.
I don't like eating very much fruit after my salad. If I do, it'll tend to be like dried fruit, something that isn't going to digest fast. I don't have a problem eating a dessert like this after a salad, as long as it's not like too much. But no, I don't like eating hydrating fruit after salad. No. All right. So what's our next?
I don't mind it.
So, tip number, what is it? 5? Yeah, 5.
Yep.
Eat fiber after heavy food.
Oh yeah, I already.
So we've touched on that a little bit. But yeah, exactly. Well, you pretty much already talked about that. If you want to go and eat avocados or a lot of nuts or something like that, just realize that it's going to take a long time.
Have a head of romaine afterward.
Yeah. Afterward,
nice crunch, just snack on it.
With it's good too, but really, the best way to do it, like if you just want to have kind of a bingey meal and follow your intuition with saying, I want to eat as much fat as I want for a little bit, that's fine. Eat your avocados, eat your nuts, maybe wait an hour or two, and then eat your salad. That way it's kind of out of your stomach, and then that salad is just going to really push it down. That's going to give you even a different result than eating it with your salad in a way, or eating your salad like directly after. Like if you can give it a little bit of separation, you'll even notice it in your digestion later that there's a big difference in even just a little bit of difference in time. Getting it a little bit cleared from your stomach and then eating your salad. It helps push everything through so that you don't want that fat sitting. You're going to have a fermentation issue.
It's the same thing about getting your dinner out before you start breakfast.
Yeah, and like there's not enough fiber in most fatty foods.
Yeah, true.
And that's, like banana is pretty much the fattiest you can go with a good balance, right?
Yeah. 10% with
or even coconut. Like you can't eat just coconut, a little too fatty.
Coconut,
fatty.
I don't tend to eat a whole coconut at once.
Well, I do just with salad. Or I'll eat salad afterward. Like, yeah, okay.
And then the 6th tip is it's kind of a little fix-it. If you had a mishap, work out your core and do cardio to aid in digestion. I mean, this is really helpful in the morning to get things started. Yeah.
More so in general, for me personally, it's not a quick fix.
Yeah,
it's an in general kind of thing.
Diet and exercise are part of a healthy lifestyle, right?
So, like, if you want to battle that fermentation and you don't want to be gassy, a lot of people just have problems with gassiness because it either A, hurts, or B, it smells bad. But if you can still stay pretty trim and it doesn't make you bloated at all because you have a strong core, then when you do get a little bit gassy, or when you just have natural fermentation of eating good food a little bit, then your core is going to be nice and tight, and any bloating you get just boop, boop.
You push it right out.
Yep.
Like, you don't have room for it.
Like you don't get you don't start distending your lower abdomen because it's gassy, because that's painful. That's painful. So like, even if that does start happening to me, if I didn't make a great choice, like, we gotta pull in our core, and we gotta do some breathing to really make sure that we're gonna pass that gas and not just let it sit there and get worse and worse. It's a compounding issue. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think those are our tips. Do you think of anything else for intuitive eating?
Can take a minute. I'm kind of already full, so I'm just enjoying the taste of this. So this is like
so
the
good.
recreational part of eating this. Which I'm totally fine with.
That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want more.
I'll probably have some for dinner.
Yep. Oh no. Oh yeah. No, this is, and that's the only thing too. Is like you get to eat. You could eat dessert as often as you wanted. Like this is so good.
Yeah, because this is a low fat dessert. All right, so I think that we are done with our meal and we are done running our mouths.
Yeah, a little tired.
No, you did more of the talking. I did more of the eating. Well,
No.
False.
This is part of why it's so good too. Is I can take solace in the fact that I know this is good for me. Like that's part of why it tastes so
Yeah,
good.
you can feel good about sharing it with people too. With the holidays coming around and it's all themed and whatnot.
We're not sitting at Big Boys going, "Oh my god, I can't move out of this booth." It was good,
yeah,
but I can't
like
move.
for a second, but I already feel like the blood going through
sugar rush.
my head. Like
Good
I feel
sugar
like I
rush.
could get up and do a lot of stuff right now. Like you know how before you'd be like, "Oh, finished your Thanksgiving
and
meal,"
everyone's
and you're
leaning
like,
back in their chair.
"Oh my god, time for a nap."
Yeah.
No, time to get out and do something.
Yeah. Live life.
Yep. So thank you for staying around with us and listening to our advice and our experience.
That's just what we have to offer from our years of, healthy eating and trying to do our best and feel our best too.
Yeah, I know.
Results in feeling our best focused. And that means following the science because that's what leads to good results. We follow nutrition calculators and that's what we recommend to you.
We've had good results and we just want to share with you the tips that we've learned along the way so that hopefully you can get the same results for yourself. And if you'd like to see more recipes and more tips on raw vegan eating, intuitive eating, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button so you know exactly when we have new videos. And I'm Tyron Nick, and you are
Darren?
and we'll see you next time.
Oh, it looks like I have a headdress. Should have been posing.